If you are listening to this episode and you are a retailer, you probably have spent quite a bit of time on the Instagram app. So today in this episode, we are talking about a feature that Instagram actually rolled out a little over a year ago. And that is that you can hide the amount of likes on each post. So what we will be talking about today is when you post a picture or a video or things of the like on Instagram, underneath each picture, you will be able to see who liked that post. Now, there is two different settings you can choose on Instagram. One is to display how many actual number of people liked your post. So it'll say such and such liked this post and 25 others, or such and such liked this post and 1,000 others. Or you can change that setting into where it will hide the likes. And so when you post a picture or a video or something like that, it will say such and such liked this post and others. It won't give the specific numbered amount of different people. The reason why Instagram rolled this out is there was a large pushback from the teenage crowd, or maybe teenage parents crowd rather, that was saying that people that posted things and no one liked it gave a lot of anxiety and a lot of even things as serious as suicidal thoughts for young teenage girls around posting things that no one liked. And they would sit up and stress and worry about, why did no one like that? Does no one like me? Is it because I didn't have my makeup done a certain way? Is it because I didn't do a certain thing? So Instagram released this update to try to encourage young people to post creatively and not worry about how many people actually liked their posts. So on today's episode, we talk about the question, should you hide the likes as a business owner and a retailer, or should you keep them public? And what are some of the good sides and the downsides to doing either of those options? I hope that you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to the Better Business Podcast, where we help you improve your family-owned retail business. I'm with my co-host today, Chris Fox from Fox Strategy, the marketing genius. And my name is Steve Cook. I'm a third-generation business owner, and with the things I've learned and talk about on this show, I've taken my family's retail business to over $10 million in sales. Now let's get to the show.
So just to catch anybody up who doesn't obsess over Instagram features and changes, the platform released the ability for any account to hide their likes on their posts back in 2021. But as that feature has rolled out and become more noticed, you might be wondering, okay, as a Instagram user, business owner, a family-owned retail business, should we hide our likes on Instagram? And I think, to be honest, every business is different and there's no black and white answer. So I thought we'd talk through some of the points that you should consider as you decide whether or not you want to hide your Instagram likes. What do you think, Steve?
You know, I didn't really ever think about this question until I saw the topic that we were talking about. I don't know. I think with a lot of things in marketing that sometimes you think about it, or as a marketer, you think about things like this more than what maybe your audience even notices. It probably depends on the industry. If you're a marketer and you have other marketers watching you, then probably this is a big deal, or something like that. But if you are maybe a hardware business and you're selling to 60-year-old people, I don't think, well, you're probably not on Instagram, first off. Second off, you probably, none of your people even know. They don't even know what that is, or, didn't even notice it or something. So it probably really, really depends on your business, like you kind of alluded to.
Yeah, I think you're kind of headed in the direction that we're going to go. Honestly, it's a very personal choice, I think, from a business standpoint. And totally true. If you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I have never even once considered this, then it probably doesn't matter a bunch. And so I think there's...
Stop this episode right now.
Just move on to something else. If you've not been concerned about it, nobody's talked to you about it, then it probably isn't one of those decisions you need to make. I'm a big fan of giving business owners the freedom and permission to just ignore whatever part of marketing doesn't work for them and they find makes them miserable. There's a time and place for everything, but we as business owners need to get more off our plate instead of adding additional items to it. So I guess really the first question is, what are the upsides? If we're going to hide likes on our Instagram account as a business owner, is there anything good, to come of it? And I think there are some obvious upsides to hiding likes on Instagram. Maybe the most impactful one that creators have said and business owners have talked about is they just feel less pressure to create specifically for likes, and then they feel more freedom to post something that they consider to be creative instead of asking themselves, how many people are going to like this or how will people respond? I did find this very interesting stat. A study in 2020 found that just 29% of Instagram users would post an unedited photo of themselves on the social media platform. So even if you're not posting something like selfies on your business account, I think that speaks to our hesitation to post something that we think others might not like or that we don't have a lot of confidence in. So if that, confidence just is so low, 29% of Instagram users won't even post an unedited photo of themselves, hiding likes could help in that. It could take away some of that pressure or worry. Over time, you just begin to worry less and less about whether or not people are liking something specifically. Which also means then...
If I remember...
Oh, go ahead.
If I remember right, Chris, isn't that why they kind of initially did that? Isn't that why Instagram initially did it? Was there was a lot of pushback from outside influences that were saying that a certain amount of teenage girls and stuff were having a really tough time if people didn't like their photos.
Oh, sure.
With like even things as extreme as like suicidal thoughts and things like that. Isn't that why kind of this originally got the conversation was started around
Definitely.
this?
Yeah, it was definitely billed as a mental health move for Instagram when they announced the testing of the feature. They also cited lots of studies. I know of two specifically that studies were that showed that teenagers, actually regardless of gender, were experiencing extreme anxiety because of comparisons on Instagram. I think maybe some of us have all known at least one person who would stress out about a post not getting a lot of likes, and so they would go and delete the post. So those kinds of things led Instagram to ask if we hid likes or maybe gave people the option to hide likes, would that be helpful, in that mental health capacity. So I think on one hand,
let's not downplay the business side of that.
Sure.
That Instagram probably, if people have less anxiety around it, what does that mean? That means they post more.
Yeah, spend more time on the
Instagram
platform for sure.
More, So I think that's probably, if you feel freed by that, so you post more.
Yeah.
I think that helps Instagram as well.
Instagram definitely tried to bill themselves very altruistic in doing this, like, that we're doing this for everyone's health and whatnot. But you're totally right. I mean, their whole business model hinges on the fact that you are either on that platform, or on that platform longer. And that totally is one of those things where you can imagine a business, consultant help them make the decision of what hurdles do we have to maximizing people's times on the platform. And somebody on Instagram says, well, people get sad when they spend too much time on the platform. Let's try to fix that. So it definitely does, probably has some double advantages to them as a business. So upsides of hiding likes, sure, more freedom to post, be creative, less pressure. I think also people don't have a predetermined measure of whether or not something you've posted is good or not. You can imagine seeing a post from a business or even an influencer or a friend, and if it's got 1,000 likes, that's kind of this wow factor almost that causes you to go, this must be good. And so you're leaning in more to that. So that's kind of an upside. I guess also then by comparison, if you don't have 1,000 likes, I've never had 1,000 likes on anything I've ever posted. If you don't have the 1,000 likes and you only get 5 and it bombs in your eyes, well, nobody really knows. So, I mean, there are upsides to hiding likes, having people not be able to see that. But I agree with you, Steve. I think there are multiple motives behind why Instagram would want to do that.
Mine, as far as the upside I don't know if this would be something that hurts or helps, and I think you've kind of prepared a few statistics in the next deal to the downside, but as far as the upside, I don't know if this would make more people. I wonder if there's been any studies done by Instagram around more people like posts with likes that are shown versus more people that like posts with them hidden. And why I bring that up is because we all know that the algorithm continues to prefer things that people engage with more. So if somebody comments on your post or likes your post or whatever, whether likes are hidden or not, I just wonder if hiding likes, if that helps people like the photos more, or if it helps people not, or if it kind of like evens it out a little bit more and maybe you don't have as big a swings. I'm not sure, but I would say that could be an upside, is if that makes kind of your posts even out a little bit more. That would help your content get into other people's feeds more. So I don't know if you could do like your own little study on that with your own profile, turn them on or turn them off. I don't know.
And see how that goes. Even as we're talking about it now, I'm realizing there is to me, in my perspective, there is a pretty clear line in the chatter, the reaction to Instagram creators and businesses on either side of this. I think that a lot of creators who are influencers who post about themselves, a personal brand on Instagram, a lot were largely more in favor of hiding likes from a mental health perspective, feeling the pressure to create something that got a lot of likes, feeling the letdown or the disappointment when you created something that didn't get a lot of likes. And that's where a lot of that conversation, so they were almost, I would say as a group, more in favor of hiding them. Whereas in the early days of the testing, and even now as it's lived for about a year, available to everyone, the opposition to hiding likes seemed to be largely people who made money on Instagram. This is my business. These stats are just as important to me as my daily sales or my daily, engagement or foot traffic in my store. And so those folks tended to be opposed to hiding it, really for the downsides. And some of those downsides, even though there's positive to it, mental health, there are absolutely things that as a business you should think through that might be negative to you. For example, if your Instagram audience is part of your business model, like some of those people who are opposed to it, hiding likes actually might impact a partnership deal or a potential brand deal. So there's been lots of chatter about those post likes kind of being like a first, I mentioned a wow factor earlier, but yeah, that first wow factor of someone looking at your account, looking at your business account, and immediately ascribing legitimacy because you have lots of likes, you have lots of followers and comments, across the board. So that's something that businesses are thinking, man, when people are researching us or looking at whether or not they want to do business with us, if we hid that piece of data, we might be taking away some of our legitimacy.
Yeah, I think that's the more you talk about that with creators and personal profiles, maybe having a preference to hide it versus a business or somebody like that, it makes a lot more sense of why Instagram doesn't necessarily care a business's organic reach or what their feelings are necessarily on Instagram as much as they probably do creators and personal profiles and stuff. So
yeah,
that kind of, as we sit here talking about it, it kind of makes sense of why they might add this feature and push people to have this feature turned on, is because that's who they are catering their platform to, because obviously those are the eyeballs they want on
they
their
need that
platform.
audience there. And you mentioned the stat of does this hiding of likes have a negative impact? Actually, Hype Auditor did a study last year on accounts that hid their likes and had between 5,000 and 20,000 followers experienced a 15% drop in likes once they hid them. And I'm thinking that this is kind of a groupthink reaction where people aren't really as motivated to like something because they don't see a lot of other people liking it. A little bit, we have that in our society where we groupthink and we'll follow trends and follow where people go. But yeah, 15% loss of likes on accounts, kind of an average size, 5,000 to 20,000 for businesses. When they hid their likes, they lost 15% simply because people weren't seeing other people like it. They weren't seeing the wow factor there.
Yeah, there's a lot of you see that with a lot of things. The more something gets going, the more it's I've even done that with videos and stuff. Like, oh, that wasn't that funny, and then I've had like 3 or 4 people send it to me. I'm like, fine, okay, I'll watch it again, and then I'm like, yeah, it is kind of funny.
Oh gosh,
I
that's
think
so
that
true.
people subconsciously do that, and so I mean that would be a reason why I would want to not hide likes. I guess would be if you have a drop in likes. Anywhere from 5 to 20,000 followers have a drop in likes. I would say put your ego aside and
sure,
and try to keep those on if that drops your likes overall.
Totally. And to the point of definitely the difference between maybe a personal brand or a personal account to a business who it's a part of your marketing strategy that you're either paying for because you're paying for an employee or someone to create content for you, or you're paying because you're advertising on that platform. A 15% drop in engagement on that is actually costing you money and costing you sales. So from a business perspective, hiding likes, could be a really detrimental thing for you to do if you're going to experience that drop. So any closing thoughts about that?
No, I think, like I kind of said at the beginning of this, I think it kind of depends on what your business is and where you sit. A lot of these things, I go to a lot of these feed store dealer meetings and stuff like that, where a lot of business owners are in the same room talking about social media and stuff like that. And, sometimes they'll spend 30 to 45 minutes on a speaker panel. I was on a speaker panel one time where they were asking questions about marketing and stuff like that. We spent like 45 minutes talking about video length. And I'm like, it doesn't freaking matter. Like, if it's a good video, it can be 45 minutes. If it's terrible, people stop watching it after 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people overthink a lot of these things. Likes and not hiding likes, video length, how often should you post, what kind of stuff, I think if your intentions are right, you're trying to chase down that customer persona that you want to be reaching, things like that. I think a lot of these things people overthink, but when you have hundreds of episodes of a podcast, you can spend time debating things like this.
Well, you're right. You're right, because what I hear you saying is just be yourself. Be the authentic, expert that your customers and clients want to do business with. And at the end of the day, you need to think about what matters most to your business when it comes to not only just hiding likes or not hiding likes, but your whole marketing strategy. Do you feel like your team would benefit from the freedom to create and not worry about what people think? Of course, then embrace that, go for that. But if there may be a time where you get the sense that your reputation might be, impacted, and you need to make some changes in the way you're marketing, whether or not you hide likes. So at the end, I think it's just up to each of us to make that call for our own businesses.
Yeah, do whatever's natural to your business. And a lot of people, I think of Seth Godin in a lot of these instances. He is such a unique character. He's an author. I don't know if you've read several of his books. He mostly does marketing content is what he usually talks about the most, but he's so unique in the way that he advertises and markets, and he's always talking about how he only makes a limited run of books of like 1,000 copies, or he tried this one time, I think he only sold 50 of a certain book that he had wrote for like $10,000 a piece or something.
Wow.
I mean, he just does like the most crazy, like weirdest things, but I think I respect him so much that he literally just does whatever he wants to do, whether that's speaking. He talks about how he only does speaking engagements that are in certain areas and like certain times and on certain topics. I think that would be my biggest admonition for this, is to just do whatever makes you feel the most comfortable, because I don't think at the end of the day, if it gives you anxiety or it forces you to stay up at night or anything like that, then crap. It doesn't matter how much it is a legion for your business.
That bleeds through to your clients, to your customers. If you hate creating social media content and it keeps you miserable and up at night and distracts you, people see that. You need to go where you can be confident and do the things that give you comfort and confidence. That will be more attractive than any forced marketing strategy on a platform you don't want to be on.
Reels is where it's at on Instagram right now anyways, and they don't have a function to hide reel likes, I don't think. if I'm not mistaken. So
like anything on
nothing
Instagram,
matters
you
on for
know,
reals.
they're changing it every month. So
Yeah, yeah. This will probably be a mute point and not too much longer. But yeah, cool. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Better Business Podcast with me and Chris Fox from Fox Strategies. I hope that you enjoyed, and this will be something that you can use in your family-owned retail